Speaking of the Constitution, can you talk to me a little bit about this birthright citizenship piece? Because this is another one that oh my gosh, everybody, I have to go to California quite often because my mother lives there and Bill Maher's studio is here. I work for Bill. And,
Tell Bill to have me on a show because
oh,
he and I,
I will.
uh, we're both kind of center liberal, and I admire him a lot. Admire his show, and I hate bad comedy, and I like good comedy, and so Bill's a good. So tell him to have me on a show.
I will, boss. I absolutely will. But Bill might be one of those people that thinks it's outrageous. I don't know. I haven't gotten his personal opinion on this, but thinks it's outrageous to end birthright citizenship. Here's my question to you. If I was to interpret this and try to make the case to do such a thing, my argument would be if you were born here, your parents were here legally, whether they were citizens or not. That would be my interpretation of it. Is there a pure legal definition, or is there this kind of interpretation of that part of the Constitution that everybody is outraged about? But I understand why he wants to do it, because it's incentivizing illegal immigration. What are your thoughts
Look,
on this one?
I don't like birthright citizenship. I don't like it as a matter of principle. I don't think that the accident of where you're born should determine whether you're a citizen. It should be determined by where you find a commitment, what country you feel committed to. But it's in the Constitution. But the Constitution is a little vague. It says born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction. Now, what does that mean? Can Congress change who is subject to the jurisdiction? Could Congress pass a law now saying that if you are born in the United States and leave immediately, or you were just born accidentally in the United States, or your parents were not illegally and they're deported, could they pass a law saying you're not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, therefore don't come within the provision of birthright citizenship? That's a question that the Supreme Court will eventually have to decide. There's an old case from the 1800s that says yes, even if you were born to somebody who was not here lawfully, citizenship gives you the right to be a citizen.
Okay.
But that case was very particular and very specific, and we don't know how it would be decided now. I do think that without congressional authorization, probably the president alone can't abolish birthright citizenship, but probably with the help of Congress, if Congress passes a law limiting who is subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, there's a plausible argument that it could be done.
Wow. Okay. Speaking of what the president can do alone, executive orders. Okay. I don't understand. How far does this reach? And I'll give you an example of one specifically that I'm confused about. And this has to do with the transgender athlete debate. And while this
Right.
may be considered a fringe issue, it's an 80-20 issue. 80% of the country thinks that,
Yep.
yes, transgender people have the right to live with dignity and freedom and respect. However, there are fairness and safety issues, and their participation in sports alongside biological females presents significant concerns due to an equal playing field and safety. So Trump does an executive order, right? I'm not going to give funding to people who allow this or allow biological males to play alongside biological females. And the governor of Maine says, F you, I'll see you in court. Now, here's what really confuses me is that how come Biden can reinterpret the language in Title IX, which was meant to protect girls, opportunity for biological girls. No one's outraged. Like, did he find a loophole in the law? Is Trump allowed to do this with an executive order? What do executive orders actually encompass with regard to states' rights or states' ability to make their own laws?
Well, there are so many different issues. Number one, you have to ask the question, is this a question of federal law or state law?
Okay.
And sports are a question of state law, not federal law. Of course, sports are national. We have the, NCAA,
Right.
all that, NBA and all that. But the best resolution of this would be legislative, to have Congress pass laws about, transgender men playing in women's sports. You could then do it in a nuanced way. It depends on the sport. In ping pong, I don't care if you're a
Right,
man or
of
a woman.
course.
On the other hand, volleyball, you saw what happened when
Yep.
a man smashed the face in of a young woman. So, we have to do it on a case by case basis. But the president has some authority, but Congress has more authority, and the states have some authority as well. You can withhold federal funding, but the issues, for example, president wants to send education back to the states. He said that he wants to abolish the Department of Education and send it all back to the states. Well, if you send education back to the states, you're also going to send sports back to the
Oh,
states.
wow.
Education. So, Maine is going to get its way. It's very complicated. Be careful what you wish for. If you think it all goes back to the states, it's going to be hard to parse. All right, arithmetic goes to the states, but who gets to play volleyball? That's a federal issue. That's going to be a very difficult and interesting issue. We only have a couple more minutes, so ask me your hardest question.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And make sure to let me know what guests you want to see on in the future.